There's an open mic going on. Hello, yeah, give it a high. This should be more appropriate yelling at first or something. Hi there, everybody. I cannot believe it's approaching St. Patrick's Day. I know my husband's birthday is the 23rd, and he's like, I don't know if it's going to snow or rain. And Monday, I'm walking out in a tank top because the weather's so great, and then the storm hits. Probably the worst one ever for this entire year, for the season, and I can't believe it. So I figured, since I'm close to St. Patrick's Day, I'll try to wear green. And I want to thank everybody for coming out because we've got a phenomenal feature from Tom Roby this evening. Oh, yeah! I know there are a lot of other people that are still on their way, so I'm looking forward to this evening. I know, and it's the crazy weather, too. I totally get it. I cannot believe it's insane. But, and I was even going to say, yeah, I know that Tom Roby is tonight, but I even kept the schedule here of upcoming features because just in 2 weeks we happen to have Jenene Ravesloot. Oh, yeah! On the 26th, which means we can also parallel that in March, or in April, because on the 9th, we're actually going to have Sid Yiddish coming in. This should be really actually cool because I haven't talked to him. He was trying to see if he can pull off having a Danish band actually come into town. So they might be here performing with him, which would be really, really excellent. I'm like, that's awesome. And Hiroki races after that. And I just found out on May 7th, originally a feature for Just Robin Fine, but Oz Hardwick from the UK, from Leeds actually, he's going to be in town. He's going to share a feature space with her. There's a bunch of cool stuff going on right now, but I was like, my husband, who can't be here, John, he's like, what are you going to read? And I'm like, I have no idea. And he's like, well, it's, raining, or it's really crappy snowy weather, and everybody's probably all down in the dumps for it, so maybe you should read This You Don't Hate. And I said, I've never read that before, so I'm going to do this one, and it might be a better view of thinking about snow right now. This is This You Don't Hate. From the picture window, the snow drizzles down, falls effortlessly, silently. I wondered if outside it was as quiet as it looked. The snow blanketed the grass past the pier his father made last summer out over the lake. Everything glowed in an untouched whiteness. No footprints yet, just falling snow. From the couch, I looked at the larger-than-life snowflakes fall, one after another, all gently gliding down to the ground. I could not look away. And you said, this is why I like winters. You see, you hate winter in the city, but this you watch for hours and don't get tired of. This makes you smile. This you don't hate. So when you need to have some good thoughts about winter, because what an awful winter we've been having. It's like, oh God, nice weather. No, sorry, most snow ever, and it's insane. You have to think of the beauty of snowflakes, and this you don't actually hate. I try to give it on happy notes for everybody, and I see somebody waving, and I've got all, hello. All right. Hi, Erin. Wow, we get more and more people, but I think the first person, unless she's going to beg that she wants to save her stuffing for when G.P.A. shows up, I was going to ask the soft-spoken poet herself, Poetry Kottyn Campbell, to come up. Are you ready, Angel?
I can come up.
Yay, give it up for my lady. I didn't know if you wanted to wait for G.P.A. or anything.
He never waits for me. Don't tell myself that. He has a great poem called Wait For Me. I don't know if I'm going to do any poetry, but...
Awesome. You're doing something not poetry. Yay!
I am going to do Last night I cried, tossed and turned, woke up with dry eyes, my mind was racing, feet were pacing. Lord help me, please tell me what I have gotten into. Ran my 3 miles to clear my mind. It always helps me out. It's my therapy when I'm losing it, which is usually, hey. I'm on an emotional roller coaster. Loving you ain't nothing healthy. Loving you was never good for me. But I can't get off this emotional roller coaster. Loving you ain't nothing healthy. Loving you was never good for me. But I can't get off. Okay, this is going to sound so silly, but I love, you guys know this song too. I just want you to know you do. Your parents probably sang it to you as some type of a lullaby or something. And I used to sing it to my children just because. My youngest hates, I don't know, he hated it at the time, and now he likes to hear me sing, but I would always do all these different renditions of it all the time. So if you, of course you know it, so then you can sing it with me, and there's only a few words to it, so it's not difficult. So of course you can join in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick?
I know it. Yeah, Patrick, it's you.
Don't laugh, okay? You can if you want to. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. So you guys know that, right? That's the only part that I really do. But then I go into a different rendition, and then I'm gonna get off of here because this is really silly. But I wanted to do this so bad.
Why don't you do the different rendition?
Do the different rendition.
Okay. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And as I was just explaining to a lady before I call up Joffrey here, I'm working on a bunch of haikus for a book, but some of them I don't think I was going to read or do in a feature or anything, and I'm just picking one randomly. I'll do that. I'll do sort. Some stores sort Bibles along with books for sale as fiction, and why not? Give it up for Joffrey Stewart. Go ahead, everyone.
I'm like clapping off. Is that okay? I think we can see if we can move that. No, you're fine.
I'll read two, one of them mine. This first one is from a collection edited by Mary Rose Geardy. It's about homeless kids, and I picked out 4 lines by such a kid. A poem by a street child, no title. No stranger I to death, he lives with me each day. He tempts me with my grave and hides the price I'll pay. Anonymous is my favorite poet. WBEZ is having a contest for a poem about Chicago. The idea got me to write. I won't send it in because I don't feel lucky. Title is Contest Poem. Deadline for St. Patrick's Day. The epigraph is from Sherman Skolnick, who was reported murdered by Mossad 7 years ago last May. Report from anonymous source. New York City firemen, there were bombs in the building. Cyberspaceorbit.com. Crucial info evidence. Explosives toppled WTC. In 2 parts. 1. A contest poem contests the status quo. 2. Chicago! Where the poet wins who lives in one suburb and works in another. Chicago, good for robbing its first settler, naturalized by the Potawatomi. Chicago, whose Laurel Washington and Bay shy away from any facts supporting that Harold Washington was victim of coffee cup murder most foul. Chicago, where the richest traders kill the party or person who tries to tax them. Chicago, where Bernadette Devlin found Northern Ireland. In reverse, Catholic Jews colonizing Protestant blacks who vote for it. Chicago, noted in poetry for pissy subways and monster rats, pot-bellied streets inferior to Mexico's. Where my sister notices the boarding areas of bus stops are not cleared of snow and Ventura raises transportation fares. Chicago, where sailors at Great Lakes are replaced by Marines instructed politely and courteously not to take my anti-war leaflets. Chicago, where Martin Luther King, not unlike my mother, sent sons south to save them from Chicago, Chicago, where my mother refused to be buried, where the James R. Thompson building is named for the man who peddles China White. Chicago, where Royko rallied the Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, where blacks protested the Sun-Times twice, where Arabs boycotted the Sun-Times twice, where a trustee of Roosevelt University, as black as Shirley Temple, and identified with the Hollinger International that LaRouche's place in conspiracy to waste JFK holds a place in jail for stealing 400 millions, somehow busted down to 60 million. Chicago, apartheid University of the atomic bomb, where I met the Pritzker president who wrecks the Constitution he taught. Chicago, where Jake Harvey was second to none for corruption, which gave Jacob Rubinstein to the JFK assassination, where from the beaconing heights of the former Sears Tower, one can see Larry Silverstein bringing down building 721 and $7 billion richer. Chicago, fifth floored by a 16-millionaire, fuck you, Lewis, alleged acting deputy director of Mossad, which dates this poem by having murdered Sherman Skolnick 7 years ago, where blacks hanged from L-tracks, where laws are made to be enforced against blacks, where Carl Sandburg was too respectable to hang with Haymart anarchists and supported the first great war for Israel, occasioning this poem, where Jane Byrne, 1 year older than the Memorial Day massacre, arrested me, and 800,000 more just for being outdoors, and was booed more by Puerto Ricans than blacks. I recycled the line, Chicago, a method of robbing blacks. Would National Police Radio give this Chicago poem an internet chance? Rhetorically, is this contest poem too contesting to win?
This is what I get for carrying things up while I'm clapping. Thank you very much. And I think I've said this once, that I'm still, because he says, well, maybe I'll get some internet play, as he did, because I should say, I'm in cahoots with the NSA, and we like to monitor everything that you're doing, and this is why. This is why I video record the open mic, which means that it could be a weekly podcast after, of course, our phenomenal Tom Roby feature, because he's going to be the first one up for the podcast. Oh, yeah. So, yes, you will have some internet play for this, definitely. And I'm still thinking, I've said this before, that since I have the recording so many times, I'm going to sample it. There are bombs in the building. There are bombs in the building. And have some sort of bass beat for reading something or something. It'd be awesome. I just hear it all the time. I'm like, I have to. It'd be awesome. But before I called up Bill Yarrow because I was looking for another one, and for some reason I thought this one might work. This is a haiku called Upturn. With blurred eyes, hollow, upturned tortoise shells look like battle casualties.
Wow.
Something to think about. And well, I'll leave it on that one because it's something to make you think. You only have so many syllables to do with, right? So please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Senor Bill Yarrow.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to read 3 poems from my new chapbook from Mad Hat Press. It's called The Lice of Christ.
What a title. I really love that title. Oh, man. So nice.
The first poem I'm going to read is called Theorizing Salsa. Janet and I had the tilapia fish tacos and talked about God. God ordered the veal cutlet and was rebuked by the vegetarian Politburo. The beer had a divine odor which attracted the wasps of mortuary remorse. This one is called The Knitting Needle, and it's about Lucian Carr, a writer associated with the Beats. The Knitting Needle. It was early in the morning when Lucian Carr stabbed David Kammerer in the chest with a Boy Scout knife, dropped the knife into a sewer, the body into the river, and buried the dead man's glasses in the park. It was later that afternoon when Lucian Carr went to see The Four Feathers with Jack Kerouac, walked to the Museum of Modern Art to look at the Leisures, and turned himself in to the skeptical police. It was a gray afternoon when Lucian Carr, holding a torn copy of A Vision by William Butler Yeats, pled guilty to first-degree manslaughter and was sentenced to a reformatory in Elmira, New York. The odor of William Blake hangs over this narrative. Oppression is true friendship. Eternity in an hour. And this one is called Helix Poem, and it's a playing with form poem, I would say, and it alternates words and phrases from two sentences, one from Samuel Johnson, the penultimate sentence of his Rambler number 47, and the last sentence of Araby by James Joyce, the first story in Dubliners. And I'll just read you the quotes separately, and then I'll put them together in this poem. So from Johnson, Johnson's line is, "Sorrow is a kind of rust of the soul, which every new idea contributes in its passage to scour away." And the line from Joyce is, "Gazing up into the blackness, I saw myself as a creature driven and derided by vanity, and my eyes burned with anguish and anger." And this is the kind of braided poem, Helix poem. "Sorrow, gazing up, is a kind into the blackness of rust. I saw myself of the soul as a creature which, driven and derided, every new idea by vanity contributes, and my eyes burned in its passage with anguish to scour and anger away." Thank you.
Yeah. Give it up one more time for Billy Yarrow.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa.
Exactly. Well, I have to try to evenly space out my women, so I was trying. I don't. What? Sorry, I don't know. I don't know what.
Careful, careful.
No. How exactly are you interpreting that? I'm sorry. But I thought I would come up with one that I didn't think I'd be reading, but I thought it might be appropriate for before Jenene. This is Judge. "Between my fingers, I'd share my secrets with you, and you never judged." Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jenene Ravesloot. And this tilts. I forgot I have a towel. I know. Well, I'm like
My next slide. My next slide.
Thank you. I'm going to read a few poems from some poems of mine that were published in Exact Change only. And I'm going to start with Playthings, Act 1. Pinwheels, rockets, flares, stage left. Paper birds on thin wood dowels, a few fake trees, stage right. A yellow moon, inflatable, blue-eyed doll dragging a toe tag. Front and center, please. Act 2. Metal bed on a raised platform, peeling wallpaper, a red neon sign. Screams of pleasure, grunts, sighs, muffled slaps, sobs leading to a struggle. Gunshots, hospital scene, death, trial, verdict, in that order. Epilogue. No need to apologize for the play's predictability. No need to raise the curtain again. The audience left at intermission along with the disgruntled reviewer, no charrette. The ghost light is on. Sunday will be black. What the gypsy said. You could have a fuller life, pal. Gunshots out of car door windows, slow motion suicides, cheap by the seat of your pants kicks. Crazy roller coaster rides that keep you shaky in the confession booth. Whores for every day of the week. Endless drunkalogues, pin-prick thrills. Or maybe not. The jury is out on this one, so stop screaming, get me out of here, get me out of here, get me out of here. Except the early heart attack, the nouveau drugs that deliver no cure, the nervous tics, bad breath, gout, inability to climb the stairs. Accept it all. Resign yourself. This is what life is offering you. If I've got your reading right. Thank you.
With other people. Hi, and thank you very much, Jenene Ravesloot. And now that happens to make me think about Tom Roby, because he's a phenomenal feature this evening. Oh yeah, give it up for Tom once again, just because I like applauding for him. Yes, good me. Awesome. And I say, look, I have no idea how much I've gotten here, but you put your life savings into a bag for this guy's phenomenal fortune or feature that's coming up. And I'll probably pass this on over to Jenene as I'm about to go on up. Yeah. But everything. I'd say no change, but you know, we're all desperate ones these times. Whatever you can give, we'd love. And write him a poem, and I don't know. Give him something because he's worth it. So I'm going to stop my screaming and yelling for that. In the meantime, I want you to give it up for a guy who does this awesome press work. And I know he's like, I don't want to go to, because he's having trouble finding work, but what he's doing is really, really cool, and everyone should give him so massive hyper props. Please give it up for Patrick Hurley. Patrick!
It is love that grips our soul. Our mind in charge brings chaos when left to its own thinking. And only sadness can reign when it is our heart at the helm. Ah, love, balance the reason and emotion, blind the sin. Walk with gentle steps the path to righteousness, careful not to stray from guided grace. Hands hold gently the tears that relieve themselves from our suffering, from our joy, and eyes stare not blankly into the caverns of our chaotic abyss. It has come to this, a change of seasons. It has wondering where the next. It has come to footfalls in unknown directions, this time when one must decide to decide. It has come to this, day-to-day creeping petty pace of tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Come to this, getting off the boat, going all the way, ready to face all the tigers in the jungle, to face the night's bitter cold, the day's vanquishing sun, ready to walk face exposed to the rain, accept moisture as a gift. It has come to this place where this voice within receives attention. It speaks now to come to where you've been, where you're going. It has come to this, a change of seasons. Spinning together, they walk into the fog, blind to what lies ahead. Misery or beauty the same, slogging through the mud of existence. What fate, what return, what light shines in their heart? Is it hope that pulls the shades open, or concern for who will feed the cat? We are here, together, spinning in our orbits. Inhale, exhale. This is life, feeling gravity's pull, dreaming of flight. Thank you.
I don't think that was because I said give him massive props, but he did get the most applause so far for the open micers. That was awesome, but you're awesome. Thank you so very much. You're the coolest thing ever. But everybody here is really freaking cool. What am I talking about? And I really love hearing this man's voice. Eric Esden, come on up here, my darling. This is a wobbly stand. I'm like, I apologize for this.
We are at the gallery, so an architect at the gallery yard. There is the place. This is no garden, nor an empty yard. There is an architect, an orchestrated concrete car. She's the queen of my heart. Don Quixote, Dulcinea, beauty size. Hey, unreachable you, sublimating my thoughts, transforming, waving of battlefields to enemies of human nature nights. There is the sun of your smile, the wind with its long fingers searching, messing with your hair, had sent the empty beach of the remote sea, the depth of the darkness of the sky, your eyes, the pure water for my life. There is my soul, the vacuum of my brain, and you, my dreams, boundless landscape of mysteries. So here we are in Chicago, right? Chicago. There are about 2.5 million souls or more along the Lake Michigan shore, east or west of State Street, north or south of Madison Street, long corridor, living more or less peacefully. Colors and races as rich as entire human array. They work, they create, they live their lives, cutting grass, planting or watering flowers, or spraying bullets. Most question it, why? Having in common love of life. The Chicago vibrating hearts, variety of music from rock to swing or blues. The beat of the drums on nails pierced through the plank on construction site. Love, indifference of hopelessness. From outbursts of happiness to sadness of broken hearts, they do have all. They sing, they paint, they dance, they play guitars, or compose songs on late hot summer nights. They live their lives, immersed in the vital fiber of Chicago city blocks.
Send it in.
It's a very brand new poem I wrote on March the 4th of this year, of course. Just beyond the stars, the time of my wandering over an ear ground, in the mood of being calm or exploding, fighting or defending, all of it, or taking punches, the stings, arrows and lances, the spades piercing through my pride, aimed into my heart. Still hoping for the fight, over the sea flat, orbiting the moon, the Rubicon, no point of return to reach beyond the stars. You, the navigator of mine, giving so cool, frozen smile. Fire, a boulder of ice, the blaze, which will never change my place. I'm still going to get with you, my navigator, passing the last galactic equator, to make you be my guest, just beyond the stars. Thank you very much.
Aha, I was able to jump up and not in the way. Hello, thank you very much, Eric Esden. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the cool thing about Eric Esden is I happen to know that his feature is here coming up on June 4th, I believe. So he will be featuring here on June 4th, which, by the way, I'm going to have to say this now, just because I can. CC&D magazine, I run 2 magazines. The only one that has anniversary is CC&D, because I don't know how to define when Day on the Earth started. But CC&D's 21-year anniversary issue is coming out in the beginning of June, and I released a couple of collection books of short issues the same size as the magazine that's coming out, and I asked for people to submit poetry. I know Jenene Ravesloot has some in there, Michael Johnson. I'm trying to think of, I don't know if Bill Yarrow does. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. And I know, in fact, there are a couple of books that have poems from our next open mic in there. So I think I'm going to ask people to be reading things from any issue of CC&D, their own or somebody else's, just because, you know, CC&D will be old enough to drink. 21-year anniversary issue for CC&D, so yeah. I'm not going to buy shots for everyone. Maybe we'll bring a little cake or something. I have no idea. But
Buy the magazine and drink.
buy the magazine and drink, but please, that'll get it all wet and it'll all be gross and sticky and stuff. But then I won't want to take it home. Anyway, I guess I'll just drink it for the magazine. What am I supposed to say? Anyway, no, drink it for yourself because it's a celebration. And anyway, now somebody that's in that issue, in those special release books, and also I believe you are in the January, February issue of CC&D magazine as well. Please give it up for Jerry Pendergast.
Yes, do drink up. It is High Holy Month in the Irish American community. Okay, I'm covering that and International Women's History Month, and it's also Guitar Month. This is called Reminiscences back to late August 1981. A prisoner dies in H block. Blanket wrapped around his body. A bell tolls. Garbage can lids pound alley pavement. Voices shout the name. Michael Devine. I read in the Derry Journal he was the 10th hunger striker to die. Across the Atlantic, mass media shout that started with Bobby Sands is now a murmur. No one utters his name on buses or trains where I heard discussions in May. But I see no Bass Ale logos in the window of any bar or restaurant in Chicago where a shamrock appears. I remember that July, most of the spent fireworks and duds cleared from the streets and parks. A man, I guess to be in his 50s, raised his glass. To Joe McDonald, I raise mine. Hear someone ask, is he that hunger striker that just died? I take a sip of my pint, facing a Mayor Daley, the first clock, and the portrait of Bobby Sands. I see the Bass Ale tapper is gone. No one asking for it lately, says the bartender. Been gone from Kilkenny Castle since June, I think, said I. Is there a boycott on? Asks a lad returning his ID to his wallet. Do we need one? Asks the man who toasted McDonald. We take a silent gulp. Okay, this is something I wrote for a very possible would-be young Olympian. I know the Olympic, that was the Winter Games we just had, but I'll read you open letter to Sadako Sasaki. The August you were 2, a large chunk of metal with a tail called a little boy hit your city, tossed you out of your home. 3 days before Fat Man hit Nagasaki. But you lived to run, the fastest in your school when you were 10. Lived to feel your blood turn pale, fold paper cranes before your last meal with family and friends by your hospital bed. the October you were 12 and I was 7 months. Your statue holds a golden crane in Hiroshima Peace Park, dedicated in 1958, and in Seattle Peace Park, dedicated Hiroshima Day 1990, with a chain of smaller cranes, multicolored like Olympic rings, draped over your body. If I were a sculptor, I would show you running through your town streets. I wonder if a medal from a track meet ever hung around the neck that a lump grew on your throat at age 11. My first memory of summer games is from Rome, 1960. Long jumpers landing in sand. I wonder now if a jumper's imprint is like the one left by a vaporized body. You would have been 17. I think of Tokyo, 1964. October, the month you died. Gary Gubner from NYU, arms raised in a completed clean and jerk, shot put sailing from his shoulder. I imagine you at age 21, running in the same stadium. If I were a painter, I would portray you in a lighter, shadowy image on a track with opponents and teammates, a crane flying above the shot put. Ode to the guitar. Amped, unplugged, flat-picked, finger-picked, with, without, vibrato, wah-wah pedal, 12-string, 6-string, solo, teamed with drums, bass, horns, etc. to infinity. Moves feet, tugs on hearts, inspires miming with fingers in the air. Debates rage. Is it real? Jazz, folk. Soon rivaled the sax for dominance in the early days of rock. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I'm in the way. Thank you. No, it's just because I'm an idiot and don't know like how to walk up or something. Well, there's just the one way, and I feel like an idiot walking across everybody and in front of a mic to walk back because I look like a buffoon. That's what I do best. I've got a woman up here, and I look at her name and I say Maria del Carmen, and I'm just like, oh my God, that is such an awesome sounding name. Hello, my name is Maria del Carmen. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I mean. And then I think of Caren and Electra, that actress, which that's not even her name. Prince came up with it for her. But you know, you have these awesome sounding freaking names, and I was like, that has to sound. And now she's like, oh my God, what is she saying about me? And I'm hyping something just about a name. But I'd really like to hear what this woman has to say. So please scream it, give it for Maria. Come on, everybody, darling, please.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi. Thank you. This is called SSDD. What is this? This rush, this speed, my need to please, to yell, to scream, to ruin the moments around me. This adrenaline is not helpful. It's not useful. It's not hopeful. It's anger. It's disaster. It's chaos. It's rapture. The end to bend the trend of peace and happiness, to feel free, to pee, how I damn well please, to shit in the streets at night, when no one is around, when everyone is sleeping in. I will toss their tinsel and pull their bows, not for heroes nor for hoes, just so I can piss and shit any damn way I please. The energy is flying, it's dying, it's leaving me, and I am left with all these foul discrepancies that drift out to sea, and I'm supposed to float on this boat, among shit I built on my own, expecting for you to understand, for you to comprehend, for you to save me, while I toss your tinsel and pull your pants and trip you up when you walk up the steps. Who the fuck am I to do this shit to you, in front of you? Who the fuck do I think I am? I'm righteous. I'm mighty, mighty underpants, full of public balls for caffeine to play with, for thoughts to mess with, for delirium to fuck with. Adios, adios, le doy mi soul to help control these impulses that make my hands sweat. This is something I call I can't believe love is just a 4-letter word. I feel worthless and weak. As she starts to cry, I fall apart. I can't breathe easily, and I hate myself for it. I hate myself. This hate becomes fury in an instant. The only thing I want to do is punch my face. So I punch my legs, slap my face, slap my arms, and my hand. I think I need something to release the stress. Boxing would be great. Cycling looks like fun. Pedaling and pedaling, but still left in the mud. But there is no time. I have no extra time. I can get up early for a 6 a.m. class, but how about my sleep? I'm just so tired today. I just want to sleep. I've been told of a path obscured. It curves, it glides, but most be held with carefulness, I am assured. Soon I will understand. No one knows it, though it's seen. No one knows it, but people like me. We are asked to hold against our will. For pleasure or love, I know not still. Though happiness is not always found, pleasure is all around. No instructions, no guidance, just will of the mind being run to the ground. I've been told of a table all round, used to spill, to gut, to frown. We sit at this table, eat at this table. Guidance is fed from this table, where fuck you and fuck that is truly allowed. But sometimes you get a snitch who claims to know better. Papers say this is where you should be, this is what's right. But that same old douchebag doesn't tell the truth behind the end of a fight. So I try to do better than just sit there at that table. Maybe paint a painting, paint a painter, painting words, claiming sainthood with his sword, forcing colors on my palette, drowning flowers with his curd. I run my mind outside to smoke. The clouds and sky guide me the most. Lead into dreams I love to host, those of no things and of some things, where my rubbish isn't rubbish like the rubbish of before. Thank you. This is called I Sit Here Drinking. I sit here drinking, just thinking and overthinking every sound your words make. I try dressing and undressing every vowel, syllable, and pause of your sentences. I write small, tiny script, even though that's not my type. I write shamefully and embarrassment, these words that paint the images created in my mind. My strands of hair sit lifeless on my thumb as I write. I don't move them. I like the image of wholeness it makes. The idea that I have not fallen apart. Now my type is cursive. It's swayed letters melting into one another. The sudden strength building up as the ink flows through. Who do I love? Is it you, him, her, me, them, us? My ideas, my thoughts. I love my mother, and she loved me. So here we go again to being my fucking drama queen, making shit up from what I pick up on the streets. The bows, the toys, the dirts and rocks I like to display next to your piece. Where is home? I forget. Is it only on the nights when we make love in bed? Is it wishful thinking to dream us sour and blue, when in truth my eye cries out for me to view all the happiness and love that surrounds myself? My mind just can't handle that. Are you? Just drink silently and wait for your mind to blow over. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. See, that's a millennial coming up here to the open mic, and I'm going to read off of my smartphone. Well, what? I'm a Gen Xer. It's not that much of a difference, but I'm also more of a Luddite because the only reason why I've got a laptop thing there is because my husband wanted. I don't like it here. You have it because I've got a very ignorant phone, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna read everything off my smartphone. You millennials. You got something smaller to hold absolutely everything into, but because we lug around everything. Us Luddites, but it was awesome. That was very awesome. I am going to also give this announcement. We've got 2 more open micers, and I'm going to tell people because we have a little bit of time. If these 2 guys read, if anybody wants to come up and read one other thing, I might read one thing or something because although we love Tom Roby, we don't need to give him 52 minutes or whatever time is left. So
come on.
I know we could. So you know, somebody. I'm just giving that thought out there before I call up Mr. Ultra Awesome Groovy, Senior G.P.A, the poetic unsub. Please, my love, get up for G.P.A. Man. Yeah.
Okay?
We have to take lots of pictures. That's what I still want to do after this. We should all be taking pictures together. Hi, cute girls. It's really awesome. Oh, sorry I don't see more. Go do your thing.
You just had your picture taken, though.
Man, it's good to be back in Cafe Gallery. And I've been
it's good to have you here.
I think it's time as it starts to warm up. I'm coming out of my hibernation. You'll see a lot more of me doing that thing. But anyway, let's get to the poetry. Okay. Bartender, please bring me a Jameson and Coke with a lime, because it makes pleasant all the despair, the loneliness, and the nightmares. And after I finish that, hand me a Heineken, frosty cold, because it finishes like a Mortal Kombat move. I must tell you, I write rhymes now, day and night, week in, week out, with the same voraciousness that Marlo Stansfield sold drugs the last 3 seasons of The Wire. And yes, it's ironic that sleep and I are bitter enemies, but the spirit of Langston Hughes inside of me will not tire. I'll dance with the devil, sure, in the pale moonlight. So as long as on Judgment Day, when the Almighty asks me what good I've done, I can hand him Lucifer's head. Rather than frighten you further, beleaguer the points that have been clearly made, I'll finish my whiskey and my German beer. Instead, I like to drink and write poetry, my poem. Jan, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. I see a buddy of mine. I see Bill Yarrow out there. Hey, listen. You hate to call a motherfucker, but Bill Yarrow is a bad, poetic motherfucker. And he does it with a smile on his face. That's what's so cold about it. Gotta get you. That's what I gotta sign you up. I got spaces. You too. I got spaces open. This is why I get to do my little plug. This Friday we have Poetry's Love Letter. It's a show I hosted. Let Them Eat Chocolate, 5306 North Damon.
It's a cool place.
Thank you kindly. And a lot of y'all, I looked around here. A bunch of y'all have featured there and done your thing, and it'd be cool if y'all came back, because I got spaces. You know, Kottyn, my partner back there, the phenomenal Kottyn, soft-spoken, filled up most of them, so I got to fill up the rest. So please get with me. Y'all know me. Y'all know we friends. Y'all know how to contact me. So, okay, let me keep on going. She sent the kids upstairs. They were old enough to watch themselves, and she came back down. She said she would only have 1 drink, but 1 drink became 2 and then 4 more. She was tipsy. I was drunk. She was beautiful. That was either way. She said she had to leave, that he would be home soon. And I asked her. No, I told her. Just give me 15 minutes. That's all I ask. She said, 15 minutes? I said, yes, 15 minutes. Give me 1 minute to say hello to you and how good it is to see you. Give me 2 minutes to extend my arms all the way around you, pull you close, and embrace you. Give me another 2 minutes for my eyes to travel your physical landscape, my fingers to touch your face and your hair, my nose to inhale your wonderful scent. Give me 1 minute to tell you how great you look and how much I missed you. Give me 1 minute to kiss your lips lightly. Give me another minute to kiss your lips fully. Give me another minute to kiss you and take your breath away. And then extend me another minute to kiss you and give you that breath back. Allow me 30 seconds to pause so I can take it all in. Give me another 30 seconds so I can stare into your soul and you reciprocate. Give me 2 minutes to wrap my arms around you again, pull you close enough so no space exists between us, and then kiss and allow our tongues to salsa. Give me 1 minute to hold your hand and look up into God's sky and do absolutely nothing. And give me one final minute, unfortunately, to tell you how much I've enjoyed this time with you. Can't wait to see you, hold you, and kiss you again. So please, just give me 15 minutes. That's all I ask. Then, you can go back to work. Then, you can go inside and check on the kids. And if you must, if you truly must, then you can go back to him. Just give me my 15 minutes. My poem. Thank y'all.
I want to be in your show. I want to be back there. I haven't been around it so long. That was awesome. And I have to say this very terrible joke that I just said to Janine and she laughed. He's like, just give me that 15 minutes and then, and he paused. So I said, and then you can hit me. She just started laughing because there was nothing about it, but that was awesome. That was very, very good. Sorry, a stupid joke. That was really awesome. That was but you're always good. You perform everything so incredibly well. That's awesome. I probably should have counted it out. Was it 15? Which I'm sure it was.
You was.
I'm sure it was. Give me 30 seconds and then another 30 seconds and just look up. I think that was awesome. Very good. And this intro is in no way linked to him. But I was talking to watching political stuff, and who is going to be the next Republican candidate for 2016 and blah, blah, blah. And John turns to me, he's like, well, I can only think of one person. I'm like, what? Christie? What? I mean, like, trying to think of who. And he's like, well, that one guy who did the address. No, I thought Paul Ryan. And I'm like, because he was a vice presidential candidate before, but he's got and I'm like, okay, whatever. Sounds, I mean, it could be, that's a valid point or whatever, but what I am absolutely positive about is that the man I'm going to call up here probably has nothing at all to do with the Paul Ryan that's up on the Republican ticket. I'm really thrilled that this guy is here, and thank you so much for coming. And as I said, this is my last open micer, so if anybody has like one poem or something, we can fill a little time, but please, and you can just read a lot of crap because I love to hear from you. Please, Paul, get it up here, my darling, come on up. That Republican thing had nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do with you. It was just something that John had said.
It has nothing to do with me at all.
No. I was going to say, it has nothing to do with you. Why?
No. The anti that.
Yeah, really.
I'll mar this world, rend it with red spray paints, splash our captains with hot remorse. I'll tar this place. I'll build a ladder so high that pits from the rain will know my name. I have 5 stars who said they'd be allies with me. Aldebaran, Josephine, Escopidingdom, Rajanine, and Geronimomo. But I am helpless. These stars, they never show up. And when they do, they put their feet down to warm them in the earth, or they spread their arms and sniff the sky and snooze. And what good is yelling gonna do? Beauty fails me again. Then saw the bass's throat. The bass bleeds thunder, bellows a swollen moan, and tympanum charges so the air is made of horses. The air shoulders us to the floor, then a vile lightning bolt, and then the horns. There's a shadow of a figure flying over us, disappearing, then hovering over us again. There is no figure over us, only its shadow on our arms and faces, and disappearing again. One lone horn still silence blows. It's so loud its soundless body makes a shadow. Our mouths are closed, but our throats all twitch like we're singing. When we leave holes where once our voices were. Permanent runes we leave in the air. And when we're gone, the lights will twitch on and spit off, and these holes will fill with buzzing howls. This is what the electricity wants. It's the spaces that we leave, like wormworks in a rotting tree, what Horatio knows more of, heaven and earth, and all of them wanting to ticket to the gate. This is the deal we didn't know we made. These are my pencils. Stealth board, camouflage. View time hole, against which another time hole. What now, I told her, plasma, hypercondition, superplasmic, her hole, fluxus, now all, now time hole. There is no past nor future. Here time hole shuddering with plasmic effect. From the downtown district, the train horn sounds. What once was steady to stay the say. The train horn sounds and the trucks on the interstate. And the stars tonight like dying drones. Their vespery, their nest in me, and just enough quiet to sleep. Thank you.
I didn't get to applaud properly, so I had to say, do it again, do it again. And that is what was the end of the open micing nighty thingy. And I would like to give a 5-10 minutes for other people if they had something to read. I was going to read something, but then it occurred to me, I'm like, wait, I talked about after Eric Esden was up here that he's going to be featuring in June. And I did not say after Jerry Pendergast was up that he's going to be featuring on July 16th. So if anybody wants to know anything about the schedule, go to www.chaoticarts.org. You can see the schedule because it's all filled for 2014.
And I have a question.
Uh-oh, what?
Is the request totally filled for the children, your churches, children, daddy, whatever, all the books that you...
They're all filled.
They're all filled.
And you've got one in each one, woman.
I know. I'm just curious.
They were all filled. And in fact, somebody else had sent me stuff. And I was like, well, it's filled. And if I liked something that somebody else has, which means you better not send me anything more, unless it's a haiku that'll fit on the same page. But if I had something from somebody else who happened to say this, hey, I've got this and it was a good piece, I might try to say, well, let me rearrange and put 2 poems on a page so that you might have room. But they are filled. They are filled.
Oh, that's terrific.
They are all packed.
What are you expecting to happen out then?
They will be out in the beginning of June, which when on June 4th with the Eric Esden feature, I'm going to be like, hey, CCD's 21, and I got a lot of books and stuff. So, yes, and they're all there, and that's that with that. But that's because they were asking about my magazine. But yeah, so, and the premise was, and somebody actually said, this is a submission for that, and they sent a poem, just regular poems, and I said, well, first of all, it is filled. Secondly, we were asking for poems specifically about children, churches, and daddies, and you sent poems that had nothing to do with those things, so they wouldn't even apply. But I will consider them for something else. But those books are filled, and I'm going to stop talking about that. But yes, by the way, Jerry Pendergast has a feature on July 16th, which I didn't mention before. So I needed to get that out because I didn't give him props before. And this is the wobbly thing that's like, well, this is what I think it should say, and try to wobble with it. So I was going to read one poem, and then I'm going to look at my list and say who has stuff here for what, and see, this is why I'm a Gen Xer, and I got this big old block, and I can't even get it to turn into a tablet, so I have to treat it like a laptop, which is retarded. So I was going to read a poem, which of course, because of course you closed, you very bad thing. I was going to read a poem that I have never read before anywhere, and I thought I'd share it with you. And it is called, I have to wait for this thing to turn around because it shut up. Why did I just do that? The poem is called Hard Enough Anymore. And I will also tell people, because it keeps shutting down on me, if you have a poem, and I'm going to give you guys the word in order. So, that means soft-spoken poet, Little Miss Campbell herself, or Joffrey, Bill Yarrow, Jenene, Betch Curley, or Augustine. I could name more of them, but if anybody has one thing to do, I would say that's awesome. This is one poem that I've never read before, and I feel really bad. We'll see how this goes. This is called Hard Enough Anymore. I don't think that teddy bear that you bought me can help me too much anymore. When I feel my cold, lonely bed at the end of each long, lonely day, I feel my bear close, and I think if I could hold him close enough, you would feel the hug. And if I bring him close enough, I can even smell your cologne. And sometimes, when I give him a hug, I even think that he is hugging me back. But it only makes me hurt more, because you're not here. I look at that teddy bear's big innocent eyes, and mine fill with tears. But I think he cries too, because he no longer lessens the burden. He weighs it down. You told me that when I'm feeling down, I should give my teddy bear a hug, because he may be needing one too. But I can't hold that teddy bear hard enough anymore, for that big blue bear can never replace you. Thank you. Anyway, I'm going to do a call, and I'm just going to start calling them up. Soft-spoken poet, would you like to read something? No. Joffrey, would you like to read something? We got one here from Joffrey. Give it up for Joffrey! I'm giving everybody a word up. We got like 5 minutes or something, so maybe one after this Joffrey or something. So come bug me if you really want to read something. It's all yours.
Janet.
It smells like me. You got it.
Title: Order Without Orders. Macintosh, Fuji, Red Delicious. It only matters that God was vicious. Eve for evil, in league with the devil, the bane of divinity, that guilt-tripping authority. Humanism wrecks domination, the ruin of terror wrought by nation.
Wow, that thing just went spinning like mad. That microphone by us was spinning around. I'll fix that by the piano. I've got two guys up here that are really short. Otherwise, Jenene might be the third if we can pull it off. Please give it up for Bill Yarrow.
This poem is called How Religion Got Its Start. It's from Incompetent Translations and Inept Haiku, just out from Jordana Barba Press. One little kid, my father sold me for 2 zuzim, one little kid. One little kid, for 2 zuzim, my father sold me to terrorists. They tied me up, one little kid. One little kid, terrorists tied me up with explosives and set me on the road, one little kid. One little kid, tied with explosives, on the road, in the sun, one little kid, blanching in the sun. One little kid, goats came and ate the bombs, ate all the bombs. Time passed and ate the goats, all the goats. In the bearded sun, I see a tall gold goat. On his back rides a shining boy. He is the realignment and the knife. Thank you.
Wow. Now I feel like I'm power-housing through these. Give it up for Eric Esden. And come on up here, my darling. And I think we're going to go straight into the feature so everybody knows. So you can order drinks now, but come on up, my darling.
So this poem probably is going to be in line with yours. And also, Russia mess around right now with Ukraine, trying to steal Crimea. I didn't write the poem just on this occasion, but this is occasion to read the poem. No war. Once you have been born, so precious moment, God's bride. The riches of the world has been given to you, the fruit of love, your own life. Then you struggle for proper education costs, and also some friends of yours, of your own kind. And you are searching for love, which will be victorious, you have ever found. But if you're lost, the meaning of pain was under your award. Now you have grown, so you became a perfect material for some assassin dreams to possess the world. The meat of the cannons is going to be the part of your own. They are flying high over top of the world. The breed of all assassins, all kind, on the helicopters, the state of the art, with disregard to all aspects and values of human life. They are going to tell you how it's good, how proud, to kill or to die. So dear fella, friend of mine, do not wait, just goodbye. The peace was your father, your mother's name was love. By now you are not supposed to do, to know what you should do, to protest, to expand, to respect and fulfill dreams of your own kind, to preserve the most important human nature rights, to live in peace and love. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now we're just going through the mad guerrilla poetry readings. Give it up for our last one that's going to come up before our phenomenal feature. It's coming straight into it. Give it up for Jenene Ravesloot.
Yeah.
Hey, if I clap in the mic, does it sound? Just
Good job, Eric.
Oh, I was unaware.
I'm going to do a real quick one. This is very small. The pimps are wearing red leisure suits this year, and Sister Zero is holding a revolver to your head. She's got a bead on you. You're going down. Taste the flat-out fear of it before you drop. Notice that the garden annuals are in the pink. Notice that all 6 Vestal virgins have gone to the room to take a nap. Notice that life begins and ends with a gasp. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you very, very much. We've got a lot of really cool people here this evening. And in fact, I mentioned, and I should even ask him about this, although he's not reading tonight, I should ask Sid Yiddish if the Danish band's going to be around for his feature in April, but we'll find out about that a little bit later. In the meantime, oh wow, now I have to think of something to say. This man saying something like he's a staple here sounds really silly, because that just means you just show up a lot. What does that mean, right? You know, I mean, what? I show up here a lot. Am I a staple? I mean, what does that mean?
You're regular.
No.
Irregular.
I'm a regular. You guys should stop, because I should be actually coming up with something good, because this man, I've heard his words, and I don't know how many books he's done. I know he has done
3
work,
at least.
at least,
Yeah.
at least. And they had cool covers. And I believe at one point he had lists of the covers up when he was performing in Chicago Calling here, and that was awesome because this man has been around, and I don't mean that sexually. This man is I'm just obsessed. I'm goofy. Oh my God, we're all doing that today. I'm just mean he's an awesome guy. He has done a lot of work with a lot of people. He's had a lot of material over years, and it's all been phenomenal. And this man has a soothing voice, and he's done work with other people, and that's always cool when you see how people intertwine their styles and stuff, which is, it's just, why, you can't pinpoint anything, because he's just awesome, groovy, cool, and that's why there's so many people here for him tonight. And the groovier thing is that he's going to have even more people checking out the podcast, because you can get that crap any old time. So please, I'm going to stop babbling because I just sound like a silly girl, because he's worth so much more than that. Please, give it up for Mr. Tom Roby!
Yes. Pilot! Oh, give me some blacktop. Let me roll free from Mom's dirty dishes and gravity. I've oiled all 4 axles and clamped on the vise, settled my heels, strapped them precise, 'cause I've got the key and the wheels and the blast, and I'm gonna break the sound barrier at last. Sugasoom, sugasoom. Oh, what a sound. 4 wheels go up, 4 others go down as I circle the runway to get off the ground. Sugar sing, sing, sing quicker. They're making one sound quicker and slicker till I roll on no sound. Up the last hill, watch out real sharp for a sprawl or a spill. In front of the bus, right under a truck. To heck with the fuss, the honk and shook fist. They'll learn who I am when I'm found on the list. I won't even cuss at a bleeding skin knee as I coast on home for my whole gang to see. Plus a Band-Aid and Coke, 'cause even my mom can hardly complain when I toss her the bomb and tell her she's raised one of the greats, the first man to break the sound barrier on skates. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming out here, and thank you, Janet, for that effusive introduction. I thought I'd try to do something special, and it's hard to do that when you've been around as long as I have. But I hit on kid poems. I've done a lot of kid poems, and so that's the first one. And I just went through my 3 books with their wonderful covers, and I have a whole warehouse full of them. If anyone, if anyone is interested in that. Okay, so this is the. This goes back to War II. I know that dates me, but the roads were all potholes by the end of the war, and then they put on blacktop, and then you could just really go. And these were not sissy inline skates. These are roller skates. This is a real thing. So that was a true story. The next one is a little grimmer, and this is Dream Spinner. Stroll, small boy, the taboo path to the river. A stolen orchard peach, a tingle on your tongue. Find the world rins with dew in the translucent morn. Enter, learner, the dark, hollow street by seeping light that discloses rainbows in dewdrop beads hanging on the grand spiral web that gates your jaunt to the way out. Doze, golden garden spider, pendant on your radial obstacle, bewhiskered and wise as an Egyptian cat in the tranquil nave of the twilight. Dart away, sage dragonflies, monitor echoes of the mockingbird. Note Inside each bobble, a mausoleum for mosquitoes. Fancy lad to fish with her net, your spider on your shoulder, ready to repair any rent. Stretch youth that taunt time to pluck the thread. Break it. Watch the web shrink to a limp drape. Streak pest to his wrist. Bite his forearm, elbow, neck. Quick, child, whisk the monster off. Flee her spiral away on her cord. Stagger through sticky cordons of spider babes on dark sides of the path. Race your breath to an empty house. Dread and crave that moment before you struggle with the spider. Thank you. And here's another poem, family poem. I had two fathers. I had a father and a stepfather. The first poem is about my first father, and the second one is about the stepfather. Peacetime casualty. My first father's life was all preparations for the well-timed world war that he failed to fight. Why did he leave me without decorations? He punched out his playmates, made reputations with touchdown heroics, the cheerleaders' night, joined after-school clubs for more preparations, Boy Scouts and Sea Scouts, his justifications for midshipman ensign, a future so bright, left me diplomas for wall decorations, then made out quite well at cohabitations, chance father by day, in the night sybarite, his proud blues parading, great preparations, a drunken car wreck that stopped assignations, his martinet father left on the drill site, a closed coffin funeral, no decorations. Death in the war would have left compensations of medal citations, a hero upright, full realizations of armed preparations. Why did he leave me with no decorations? But of course, since I didn't have a war hero, I had to invent one. When I was a kid, I Tommy gunned the nips skulking in pillboxes from Guadalcanal to Okinawa, and added a Purple Heart to my medals for scraping my knee on a concrete driveway. I was all against dropping the A-bomb. I wanted to take the home islands house by house. My gang helped too, but we had to make up the Japs. Who wants to be them? No one wants to be them. Now, sometimes I dream. I am a Japanese pilot. Mission accomplished with Midway Island and the Yorktown in flames. Come back to find my home carrier, hear you, the Flying Dragon, unshielded, sunk by Yankee dive bombers. I snort, search for radio contact, sweat, deny until sputtering out of gas, I take the final descent, the long glide into the sea. War hero. Okay, but when you're a kid, you really have to build things. And after the war, there was a building boom, 1946. Our club sneaks out on warm school nights, creeps through the spring weeds of the corner haunted house, meets to break a window or two, rip off peeling wallpaper and scrawl our names on bare walls, the shadow, the heap, Captain Midnight. The construction site is even better, like living inside a huge erector set. Tab A slides into slot B, sashes, snug window frames, pipes thrust through floorboards. After school, we watched the Sandman swing his shovel like a pendulum that scoops mortar from his mixer to the bricklayer's trays. Trowels scrape and dish. Flip a lip on each edge. Set one brick on the other and tap them with a handle for alignment and good luck. At quitting time, we saunter around the block, come right back for building tag, hide and seek in each new room, and whatever we can make with fresh sand, signing our names. Tonto, Speedy, Boy Wonder. We learn the ribs of this house, its guts. We become its brains, its spirit. On a dare, Boo Noakes lays a line of bricks, then tells some nosy cop in a deep voice from behind the wall, "It's okay, officer, I am showing the kids how it's done." Inverted vandals, we fix things up for the workmen, smirk at their puzzled looks. No broken glass around our house. We meet in every room from basement to attic, carving our names on the top beams. Blackhawks, the Daily Planet, Justice League of America. Then they latch the last window, lock the back door. Dispossessed, we spook around corners with the fall leaves, come back to peer at the fireplace where we had warmed ourselves like craftsmen, remembering the Sandman's swinging arms. Building Blue. And then we get to the second dad. Practicing. 1. My dad developed me. We fooled around with the pigskin every weekend. I never knew why he threw passes for hours like Johnny Unitas. Slant out 5, cut right 3, fly 12 down, drift back. The ball was always there on one side or the other, too high or too low. He never said where. So when I caught the shoestring spiral that won the game, I did it on my own. We talked once about how much I had practiced. Remember how I developed you? Oh? When was that? 2. Now I'm dad, tossing and catching to teach you how to fake left, dodge right, take my over-the-shoulder pass, and thread down the sideline for your touchdown. I watch the games as you develop you, turning my single fake into your own triple dodge that leaves the defenders in their socks as they expect the unexpected. You work it inside you. A sudden veer felt at the last moment. I never say, I developed you, exposing my yearning for recognition, but hope somewhere you might remember when you got your start in the tradition, as if I were Johnny Unitas, keeping my mouth shut about it. And of course there is always the mom. Cowboy. My mom was no cowgirl. She would have tumbled off her high heels and died in the dust of the Old West. I knew how hard it was from breaking in my cowboy boots when I was 8. I had to work to wear down the outside heels and perfect the bow-legged strut that said I have just tamed the one mean Mustang to save Ma from rapacious Apaches. I couldn't believe the ingrate when Herb Beef sent me to the last roundup. You'll ruin your legs as well as your shoes. Besides, it doesn't look nice. She turned on her stiletto heels and wobbled out the door to meet her date. That killed my Taming the Frontier. Without the boots, my 6-gun and sombrero were useless. For the next few years, I played mortar wars on construction sites in tennis shoes. I dodged ricochet puffs like bullets. I threw back hard. You could count the hits because it stung and they cried. Once, in a scientific mood, I pointed out her bandy legs were ruined too. Pleasure bent was her retort. Pleasure bent. So we are now moving into family legends. This is all out of Shapeshifter.
And who published that book?
That book was published by Pudd'nhead Press.
Pudd'nhead Press!
David Getchick. Thank you, Dave. He had a pressing engagement with a chemistry lab. Yes. Okay. So we are.
Are you trying to say he had some meth to make?
No. Dave is on the home brew, the bathtub gin. Don't tell him I said so. Family legend says Uncle Charlie rode his way up from cabin boy to captain of industry with a windjammer, a guffaw, and never lost the mile race in the two-man skull. His world record will stay unbroken now that they no longer veer around a half-mile buoy but compete on a straight course. On Sunday afternoons, I brought extra cactus needles to play his classical platters. Fingal's Cave Overture, The Sea and Sinbad's Ship, The Flying Dutchman. It made me feel I too could set sail, become a man of the world, hold my bourbon like Uncle Charlie. Once while stacking the 78s on the spindle, I asked him, "What do you think life's all about?" He just chortled, but I let the next disc drop. How about the music? Maybe it's there? Oh, that's your Aunt Lillian's. I never touched the stuff. It made me sick, but I had to put the records away. Be polite at their Sunday dinner. Family legend. Yeah, that is what happens when your heroes don't hold up. So, okay, so I have a few more minutes here to finish up, and I've run out of kid poems, so I'll have to grow up and read a few love poems. And I will try to be positive here. Here is a pleasant rondeau. My pleasure is to pleasure you, so I can feel you through and through, since this is surely one good measure of what it is in you I treasure, which makes me take off every glove to touch your moistened silken love, cocked below and tongued above, sliding every port at leisure. My pleasure is to guide your pleasure. But since I cannot tunnel through, you'll never find me through with you. When love is very hard to capture, morphine into torture, failure, do for me what I do for you. My pleasure is to pleasure you.
a pleasant rondo. And of course that has a downside. This is a shadow dome. Do come to my underground garden. Its blue shades that hug knowing moles. Leave behind great garden spiders, mummified bees. Ride saddled slugs to delight our cortege that crawls and slithers on its millipede fur. Slide into milk-warm cavern pools. Sink with me, alien to whales of strange trysts in that bright domain of the dying. Come, most beloved, come! No need of eyes or arms, now we are consecrated as one. Garlands crown us king, queen, in our dark rest from lust. Okay, so I'm going to just see if I can pick out a random one here. Oh, here we are. This is one of the, I'll read this one and then I'll read the final one. You've been a great audience. The, one of the great words in the English language is slag. Let's hear you say it. Slag. Come on, I can't hear you. Slag. Oh yeah, that's a wonderful word. That's what happens to the dross of the when they make the steel. And this is from the far south side of Chicago. From Slag Town Steel Works Rail Yard Trestle, we tip big buckets into Slag Valley, let dross steam, meld cinder hills, while gravel graders wait to pave our driveways. Our kids sneak out onto Slag Field in acrid evening air, snap their fingers at cherry bomb fireworks, smirk at dumb gravel graders. Who'll win after school races sledding down Slag Hill cinders? Who's unlucky enough to bust through the crust? Don't lose your shoe or mama's going to whip you because you can't trust the too thin crust. No one plays informer. No one dares to tear us to poke our molten roots. We don't forget the night John Dillinger made his getaway, rolling down Slag Hill, tossing silver dollars onto moonlit porches, cops in hot pursuits, cursing gravel graders we shoved in their faces. Chop your cat's eye marble out of cold Slag Ridge. Smooth that lucky shooter, aim it to win. Take the stress, gravel graders get the rest. Hang hard, keep cool, never make excuse. We'll pave the way to Slag Heaven when the gravel graders come for us. Slag. Thank you, and of course, we always have to end on a note here of some kind, and then this is.
And on a note of some kind.
Yeah, right. and this is in perhaps a major minor mode. It's from Capo di Ponte, which is a village up in the Italian Alps, and it has two parts. One, a rainy Italian graveyard, bright with flowers, where steeple birds trade tunes with Angelus bells, and we climb dry steps under the Bona chapel portico to view their formal portraits in the vestibule. 2. After we lunch on cheese and red wine, I watch my smile fade in the cafe glass because I hate to leave any place until you remind me that we will have a time when we won't have to leave. And I will be around for more anytime Janet will have me and you'll enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I don't think it was loud enough. Give it up one more time for Tom Roby! Awesome. I don't want to stop. Thank you very much. It was very double plus cool. And because I have to, because I started mentioning it before, and this is what I do at the end of the open mics, I might as well talk about upcoming features, because in just 2 weeks from now, on March 26th, we have Jenene Ravesloot. I'll give it up for Jenene. I think the last time she had a feature, I made an extreme sestina variation of a poem for him, and I might try to do it again. Just popped in my head, I might try to do it again. We'll see. But it's not about me. That's about her. It's all. This is what's compelling me to do that for her. So keep that in mind. Everybody should do an extreme sestina variation of a poem, and everybody has to read a poem very rhythmically. But it's awesome. It's awesome. It's not. That's not an insult. I swear. I hope you don't think it is, because it's just a very rhythmical thing. No, but it's good. I like it, and that's why it's why. I don't like that. Therefore, I'm going to try to talk about it and emulate it. What? Shut up. And then 2 weeks from that would be 4 weeks from now, April 9th, we've got Sid Yiddish. This is going to be an awesome show. I'm not sure what's going to be going on. There's going to be a dance band, or if he's going to have one of the local bands around, but it should be really cool. 2 weeks after that, in the end of April, we've got a Roki Rice. And in the beginning of May, well, normally that would have been Robin Fine on May 7th, my wedding anniversary, but it's going to be a double feature. We're going to have 2 features that night, because we're going to have Oz Hardwick from Leeds. He's actually going to be coming across the pond, and he's going to be doing a feature as well, which is really cool.
It's
and
very ducky. It really is ducky.
It is ducky, is it not? It is. It's just ducky. Oh, that sounds so bad. All right, I'm going to shut up. Because, anyway, no, I'm just thinking that made me think of Ducky from 16 Candles or whatever, the BS Candles that were with Molly Ringwald or whatever, which is not anything that is related to being British at all, which is terrible of me. So I'm going to stop, because it's not like I've been drinking that much. What is my problem? And if anybody doesn't know anything about the schedule, which is filled, and I'm hoping that people that are awesome like Bill Yarrow could double feature with somebody later on, because it's already filled up for the year. But if you want to know anything about the schedule, I need to catch a breath. Go to www.chaoticarts.org/thecafe. You can find details. Also, we've got podcasts that come out on iTunes, or if you want to download them anytime, they're always available. And thank you all so very much, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks for Jenene Ravesloot. Thank you.